Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here today to talk to you about education, which I think is incredibly important. Most things in life disappear over time. Beauty, youth, health, sometimes wealth. But education is the one thing that remains with you for all of your life, that nobody can take away. I'm going to talk about two worlds of education. The world of education in which I grew up, and my guess is that probably you grew up in that world as well. But I'm also going to talk about the new world of education, the world that the digital natives, the generation of the millennium, inhabit today across the world. But first I want to share with you two insights from our CEO, John Chambers. John is a visionary man. He's able to see over the far horizons and around corners. And the two insights that I want to share with you are these. First of all, the two great equalizers in life are the internet and education. So the internet and education have a democratizing effect on the world. And I think if you look around the world, in many parts of the world today, you can see those phenomena happening. The second insight, of course, is the connection between education and a strong society. Developing the knowledge economy, growing the sense of a resilient nation state. You probably remember this world, the world of the classroom. Do you remember it? Did you learn in a classroom like that?
Yes.
With a blackboard and a teacher, a professor, perhaps up at the front of the class on a stage, usually on some sort of higher platform, right? Because, of course, the teacher was the source of all wisdom and knowledge in the classroom. Those were the good old days, by the way. I started teaching more than 40 years ago, and I remember those days. The teacher was a figure of authority in those days. Not anymore. Because the idea of the teacher as the sage on the stage has disappeared. Now, the role of the teacher is not diminished or reduced, but it's certainly changed. The role of the teacher today is as a facilitator, as an orchestrator of learning, if you like. The world has changed, even for those old teachers like me, you see. The world has changed, and this is inevitable. We cannot resist it. You can do nothing about it. It's happening all around the world. So it's not a case of whether you adopt the new technology. It's a case of when you adopt it. Where do you want to be on the curve? Are you ready for this new world of education? You know, in the past, change in education happened very slowly. When I started teaching, I had a blackboard and a piece of chalk. And then there was a revolution in pedagogy. The blackboards became green boards. Really? Was that a revolution in pedagogy? It seemed substantial at the time. And then the green board became a whiteboard. You remember that? And those schools that had whiteboards thought they were incredibly modern, incredibly advanced, because their boards were white and not green or black. But when you think about it, the pedagogy remained exactly the same. The teacher was still at the front of the class, with perhaps not a piece of chalk, but a whiteboard marker. But today, things have changed dramatically now. And the important point here is that change is happening faster than ever before. The old world of the learner, when I studied at Oxford University, I began my undergraduate studies in 1967. And my life was very circumscribed. I used to go from my study bedroom at the university to the library, and to the lecture theatre, sometimes to the museum, for example. But if I went to the library and the book was not there, I had a problem. I had to reserve the book and hope that somebody would bring the book back to the library. So a lot of my time was spent going between places. My study bedroom to the library, to the lecture theatre, and back again. Frankly, a lot of my time was wasted. The new world of the learner is a world of connections. This is the world of your children and of the future generations. It's a world where everybody is connected. In 60 seconds, This was research, by the way, done almost a year ago, so already it's out of date. These figures have multiplied enormously, but in 60 seconds around the world, 168 million emails are sent. 600, more than 600 new videos are uploaded on YouTube every 60 seconds, every minute. More than 13,000 iPhone applications are downloaded in 60 seconds. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the new world, and we better get used to it. At the core of the new world of education is communication and collaboration. So parents, students, teachers, administrators, emergency services and community members need to communicate efficiently, effectively, and in a timely manner. And the technology now enables them to do this in a cost-effective manner too. We did some research at Cisco into the desires of young people. Young people, of course, are those under 30, so I just narrowly failed to qualify. And 97% of the people that we surveyed said they could not imagine a life, their life, without a mobile phone. 97% said that. 84% they couldn't imagine life without the internet. 64% said they couldn't imagine life without a car, so the car was much less important than the mobile phone. And unfortunately, 43% said they couldn't imagine life without their current partner. So clearly it shows the importance of mobility to the young generation and the importance of connectedness. One of my grandchildren said to me the other day, "Granddad, when you were a kid, did you have a mobile phone?" I said, "No." So he said, "How did you arrange to meet your friends then?" I had to think long and hard about that, actually. What did I do? I guess we planned more in those days, right? We made arrangements, plan A, plan B, plan C. If I'm not there, I'll meet you at the post office or whatever it was, right? Now, today the 4 key priorities for the learner in this new world of education are to be mobile, to be social, to be visual, to be virtual. Mobile means rich, secure collaboration from any device, any location, any user, any time. It's 24/7 now. So no longer is the classroom the only place of learning. Learning takes place on the bus, on the train, in the cafe, at home, at weekends, in the evening. We know that because we have mobile devices as well. But mobile devices are not just for business people, they're for students as well. Social, the power of the social networks, the learning networks to locate, connect, and engage. Visual is the power of video. And of course, we at Cisco have the technology to enable that. High quality video available everywhere in real time, so synchronously or asynchronously. So that means offline, you can access it whenever you wish, at your leisure, at your convenience. So there's no excuse for missing a class. If I missed a class or a lecture, I had to borrow my friend's notes and hope that they were pretty good notes. No longer, not necessary anymore. We can also, of course, stream video to remote locations, so you achieve economies of scale. You don't need to send a teacher every time to teach a class of 5 students. Those students can join remotely now, so it's cost effective too. And then virtual, hosted applications, voice and video, etc. Mobility therefore transforms teaching and learning. So the network is the platform. The network needs to be simple, secure, and reliable. But what the student wants today is connectivity, any user, any device, anywhere, anytime. And video accelerates learning. There is very good scientific research to back this up. People remember 20% of what they hear. So it's a good job that you can see me here today. 30% of what they see. But if you see and hear something, in other words, through video, you remember 70% of it. And that's because 30% of the brain's cortex is devoted to vision, only 8% for touch, and a mere 3% for hearing. So video is an incredibly powerful learning tool. Video transforms operations, not just for students, but for faculty, for teachers as well, for administration, for emergency services, for subject matter experts. You can bring now into your class, wherever it is, in Kiev or in one of the outlying regions of Ukraine, you can bring a subject matter expert in real time into your classroom, so the students can benefit from that. And you've seen today how we had people from Singapore, people from Amsterdam joining us here today. Social networking, we've talked about, enables students today to share their content and to encourage a collaborative learning environment. Use of e-textbooks and digital content is expanding across the world now to become the primary learning resource. You all know about the courses from MIT now, which are freely available on the internet. You know about the Khan Academy, for example, also, where there are huge numbers of resources freely available. This is another direction which is inevitable. I don't think we can stop it, and I don't think we should try to stop it, because I think it's a benefit. Online and virtual classrooms complement traditional classroom instruction. So nobody is suggesting that the role of the teacher is finished. What we are suggesting is that you can enrich the classroom through, for example, blended learning. Blended learning means that part of the instruction is given face-to-face and part of it is given virtually in a virtual learning environment. Big data and learning analytics allow us now to deliver personalized learning environments, because the technology allows us to follow the progress of every single student in the class. So instead of the idea of one size fits all, you know, today it's Thursday, so everybody is on page 32, paragraph 4. Turn your books open, please. The environment now is personalized, all right? We have in the class some people who are faster learners than others. We can accommodate them, just as we can accommodate the slower learners as well, through big data and learning analytics. Now, the concept of the flipped classroom is a very interesting one. I mentioned earlier on that the classroom used to be, in the old world of education, it used to be the place where learning took place. But when you think about it now, we have the technology to allow students to view my lecture, for example, or my class on history or geography or whatever it is, or mathematics. They can view that before the class, so they can view it at home. They can prepare for my class, so the content, the important content of what I'm going to deliver to them in the classroom, they've seen at home. When they come to the classroom, therefore, we have a dynamic discussion about that content. So we call this the flipped classroom. And we find that through the flipped classroom, students become more engaged, learning becomes more personalized, and the classroom becomes more interactive. Another piece of research showed that 40% of young employees today would accept a lower paying job in exchange for more social media flexibility and more work mobility. So in other words, it's not all about money. It's also about giving the young people today what they want and what they expect. And among those things are social media flexibility and work mobility. The key skills for the knowledge economy, we believe, can be divided into 3 groups. Of course, you have the traditional 3 R's. You have reading, writing, and arithmetic. We know that. And those will remain forever. People need to be literate and numerate. But on top of that, today, employers, including Cisco, by the way, are looking for people who have 21st century skills, critical thinking, collaboration, communication, creativity, problem solving, and ITC proficiency. There's also a set of global leadership skills that are required today by modern employers. A global mindset, languages proficiency, cultural awareness, a team player attitude, professionalism, and work ethics. We saw what happened in the recent recession around the world when people don't have those work ethics. And finally, entrepreneurial skills, opportunity recognition, self-direction, persuasion, planning skills, risk-taking, and resourcefulness. So today then, the challenge for us as educators is to adapt to the new challenges, because the learner lives online. He or she lives in the new world of education, and many of us are still in the old world. We need to make that movement. The education system, national, regional, local, must adapt to meet employer and student requirements. If you don't adapt, you'll fall behind. It's as simple as that. And the employer must demand new 21st century skills on top of the strong basics, which will never go away, the 3 R's, reading, writing, and arithmetic. So the question I have is, I have 2 questions actually. The first one is, are you ready? And the second one is, will you win? If you would like to stay connected with Cisco's education team, you can post a comment or photo on Facebook, you can follow us on Twitter, you can check out the Cisco Education blog, and you can subscribe to watch Cisco Education videos on YouTube. Thank you very much.